Alrighty, guys. Good afternoon to you all here. It is July 18th, 2025. We're at about 1 o'clock Central Time here. Sorry for making this video so late, guys. I was trying to get some graphics done, work on some things behind the scenes, waiting on a couple SPC outlooks to come in. So we are officially getting this video out to you guys for today here. I will not have a live stream for you guys until later on tonight, probably around 9-10 p.m. Central Time, which makes it okay because we're not going to be seeing a lot of our severe weather until closer to the evening and overnight hours. And I'm actually going to go run a nighttime 5K over in Eastern Kentucky tonight or Central Kentucky tonight. So I'll be out and about until then. So you guys won't see me once again until later on tonight around 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Central Time. We'll do our live stream. We'll cover some severe weather, maybe even into the morning time hours here, as we do have a line of storms that'll be developing later on tonight across the Midwest here. We've also got a better shot at seeing some tornadoes today as well up into portions of southern Minnesota, western Iowa, and getting into Nebraska as well this afternoon and tonight. We'll also have a tornado risk in the Ohio Valley and wind threat in the Ohio Valley tomorrow as well. And we'll start to set up this heat dome that's going to be building as we go through the next couple of days and into next week and really till the end of the month here. We're also watching the tropics for potentially our next named storm out in the major development region there. Not any United States impacts anytime soon, really, maybe even at all. We're just watching a wave that'll be moving off the coast of Africa. Could get our next named storm. It would more than likely be a fish storm. We'll have to watch the Dominican Republic down towards the other islands out there in the Atlantic, but we'll keep you guys updated on that as things potentially ramp up for the closer peak of the hurricane season as we get closer to September and end of August here. So other than that, guys, we'll go ahead and break down this forecast, talk about what we're seeing here as of right now. We got a lot of stuff going on here on satellite imagery here, and you can see what's left of our Invest 91 or 91, 93L down there into Louisiana and Texas. We've also got a system moving through the Midwest and the plains here. Just a lot of different areas to watch for thunderstorms. Two different areas of low pressures, one off the Rockies that'll be bringing our system later on this afternoon, and then something that'll be setting up over the Ohio Valley. So I wanted to show you guys the satellite imagery here to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on within and around our atmosphere currently right now here. I'll go ahead and talk about what we're going to see here and try and make this video brief for you guys today because I have a lot going on today. But Storm Prediction Center outlook here for today. We have a double barrel slight risk as well. This is going to be for portions of Virginia and North Carolina here, Virginia Beach, Roanoke, getting into Raleigh as well. We'll have the chance for a couple of isolated, maybe brief tornadoes in this area here for today. Back over here into portions of Virginia and North Carolina. Like I said, not expecting a tornado risk, but it's less than 2%, but not zero. So we could also, like I said, get a brief spin up over there. Not really looking too much of a tornado threat in the East Coast today or the Ohio Valley. It's going to be a wind threat along this region right here that extends where we could see winds up to 60, maybe 70 miles per hour and some small hail up to 1 inch in diameter. Maybe a couple 1.5 inch ping pong ball size hailstones out there. But our main risk zone for tornadoes today is actually going to be back up into the Midwest and the plains states. We do see a shortwave trough eject later on tonight. We'll see an elevated shot at seeing some damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, some large hail, maybe 1 to 2 inches in diameter, and a couple of tornadoes are possible in and around that slight risk and marginal risk here for portions of South Dakota, Nebraska, getting into Minnesota, getting into Iowa, and getting into northern portions of Missouri later on this evening. And then a marginal risk that extends outward here into the closer to the Rockies here, up into portions of Idaho, Montana, getting into Wyoming and getting into Nevada and Utah here. We'll have a chance for wind and hail. So not a big day for severe weather, although that tornado risk has been elevated here. We do have that 2%, 5% tornado risk here. Sioux Falls, Norfolk, getting into eastern Nebraska, eastern South Dakota, western Iowa, and southwestern Minnesota. You need to have a way to get alerts on your phones. We'll probably get a tornado watch later on this evening here. Like I said, this probably won't initiate until later on after about 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time. So there'll be a couple hours where you guys don't have me today as these storms get going, but I'll be back later on tonight to cover the rest of the event for you guys and also tomorrow. So we also do have a wind threat as well. Like I said, 15 and 5% chance of seeing winds up to 70, and then the hail threat. Wouldn't be shocked to see on the 3 o'clock update if they hatch the hail threat. We'll see what happens with this at the 3 p.m. Central Time update. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. I'll do a video. If not, we'll just see you guys tonight. But 1 to 2 inch diameter hail also possible for today. We get to the outlook for tomorrow, and tomorrow is a very interesting day. We have 2 double barrel slight risk again, and I'm really watching more towards we've had some interesting model runs through the mid hours of today so far, mid morning through mid afternoon hours here, where we're starting to see more of an elevated supercell threat back in Iowa. So I'm really watching Iowa to see if risk zones change going through tomorrow, for maybe if we just had a couple model runs that were a little bit iffy this morning. But I do want to watch for a large hail and damaging wind threat tomorrow evening across central and southern Iowa, even though the risk zones only call for marginal, and then east of Des Moines here will have that slight risk. So something I'm watching very closely, maybe even for a higher threat. We'll see what SPC does with that going through tomorrow, but we do have a huge marginal risk that extends basically from the Great Lakes up to the Ohio Valley and back up into the Central Plains, Midwest, and up to the Northern High Plains. The double barrel slight risk back down here as well, getting into portions of Nebraska into Kansas here, where we will have a tornado threat tomorrow back over in the Ohio Valley. Now, the wind threat and the tornado threat will mostly be focused back over into the Midwest and the Ohio Valley, where we do have that small 2%. This goes from basically Detroit, Michigan, back through southern Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, eastern Iowa, and eastern Missouri. We will be live covering this event for you guys tomorrow in full length. We also have a wind threat tomorrow as well for winds up to 70 miles per hour in both risk zones there, that slight and marginal risk, and then the same applies to the hail, where 1 to 2 inch diameter hail will be possible. So we'll see, like I said, what SPC does here as we go through the next couple of days. We also have a day 3 outlook as well going into your Sunday. The Storm Prediction Center here does have a marginal risk from basically the high plains through the Midwest, up the Ohio Valley, and into the East Coast here, where we will start to see that high pressure build, allowing for troughing over top of the ridge. You get severe weather with northwesterly flow, mostly in the form of damaging winds, but you can get tornadoes as well, mostly damaging winds though, more than anything. So we'll see how this goes through the end of the week here. And then as of right now as well, the Storm Prediction Center does not have a day 4 through 8 as of now, but we are watching the threat for multiple days of severe weather as we go into next week, as that boundary sets up over top of our ridge. So something to make note of. We continue to see these risk zones added each day. The reason why we're not getting any day 4 through 8 is probably because of confidence, just due to where shortwave troughing or impulses of troughing are going to happen at. So I want to show you guys a couple things here, and I'm going to go back to the 12Z her run. We've had a couple more runs this morning. It's been pretty consistent with what today's setup is, but I want to show you guys today, and I want to show you guys tomorrow. We're really going to be watching the Midwest and the northern Ohio Valley through the next 48 hours here, as we will have some showers and supercells start to initiate around southern and central Minnesota around 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon, maybe a little bit sooner than that. That's really not the main event. We'll also have some showers and thunderstorms, maybe an isolated wind and hail event back down here in the Ohio Valley today, where that marginal is at. I'm not really too concerned about that down in the Ohio Valley today. Just be weather aware if you're in those risk zones down there. But things start to get a little bit more interesting after we go closer to about 10 to 11 p.m. It looks like our main severe weather threat may not even ramp up until closer to 11 p.m. midnight tonight, which works out okay because I won't be back till then. But models are showing clusters of storms moving through Iowa, moving through portions of eastern Nebraska, South Dakota here, getting into portions of southern Minnesota here. And this is going to be all through the overnight hours mostly. So storms will initiate this afternoon through this evening up into Minnesota, and then initiate overnight as this line of storms or cluster of storms develops through the afternoon hour, or not afternoon hours, through the early morning hours tomorrow. And then this is where things get really interesting. We're already going to have storms moving through southern Iowa and Illinois through tomorrow morning, through tomorrow afternoon. And depending on what the atmosphere looks like, how things go, we more than likely will see this MCS or MCV basically re-intensify. And that's going to be too. We'll already have moisture in place. We'll already have instability in place by tomorrow morning. So we're going to watch a kind of a weakening squall line advance through the Ohio Valley tomorrow. And these will have the chance for individual QLCS tornado rotation. So something to make note of here from Michigan downwards. And even if we were to get a supercell that pops up in front of this line of storms, we could see an isolated tornado threat as well. But tomorrow does look to be more of a damaging wind threat with a isolated tornado threat kind of QLCS with. And then I want you guys to see on the left side of your screen, this is where that second mode comes in. And this is what threw me off this morning watching this, was the model runs, specifically the HER here, just has a just a barrage of supercells. And if something like this were to happen tomorrow, we would have a pretty big problem across the state of Iowa. So I'm going to be monitoring this afternoon to see what model runs do. But this is usually like a high-end scenario you would see, not this over just central Iowa. And you've got 4, 5, 6, 7 supercells ripping through the state of Iowa tomorrow afternoon. So I'm not too sure if this is going to trend or not. Hopefully it does not trend. But if this does, I would expect risk zone upgrades potentially in the future for Iowa going through Saturday and Saturday afternoon here. So we're going to be watching this very, very closely. This would kind of be a worst-case scenario. I know talking to one of our people on our weather team, they've got a lot of festivals and a lot of events going on this weekend in central and southern Iowa, so this would not be a good thing for them over there in that area to have going into Saturday afternoon. So we'll be live today, tonight, tomorrow, to cover these events. So that's just something we're watching for. But the Ohio Valley event will mostly be through midday to late evening tomorrow, and then we'll have that second mode get going tomorrow evening. So something to make note of there. And then that cluster of storms will move again through the Ohio Valley and down into the southern Missouri Boot Hill areas on Sunday, and we'll kind of see what Sunday looks like then. Looking at instability values as well for our atmospheric setup for today and tomorrow, we'll have lots of instability, so instability will not be a problem. This is instability through the next 48 hours, and we'll definitely have it in place. There's not going to be too much of a concern at all for tomorrow or today for instability. We also look at our tornado parameters, and like I said, we will have those higher tornado contours back over here into eastern Nebraska, South Dakota, getting into Minnesota and into Iowa here later on this evening. And then that boundary will push east. We'll have a chance for a couple tornadoes in the Ohio Valley tomorrow, and then we'll do it again with potentially that supercell threat in Iowa tomorrow night. I'm really going to be watching that closely because that's kind of like worst case scenario if that were to happen. One more thing I will show you guys, just an idea of helicity tracks. Just gives us us an idea of how much rotation's in the atmosphere. And you can see this is helicity tracks over the next 48 hours. This would not be good, like I said, for Iowa or for southern Minnesota. You can see a couple swaths of updraft rotations. Doesn't mean you're going to get a tornado out of every one of these updrafts, but what it means is there's enough rotation in the atmosphere to cause a tornado threat to be existent. So something to make note of as we go through the next couple days. I only show that typically on days where I'm a little bit more concerned or elevated for a tornado threat. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. One more thing I want to show you guys, and this is going to go into next week here. We are going to see those high dew points push in the 70s and possibly even some low to mid 80s as that corn sweat sets up here. The corn in the atmosphere, or the corn in the atmosphere, the corn that is being grown to get ready to harvest as we go closer to fall here. Will be producing that sweat, and that sweat helps lift up dew points in the atmosphere. Crazy enough how that works, but it does work. So something to make note of here as we go through the next couple of days. So I'm gonna keep this video today at what we're talking about for today and tomorrow. I'll do a longer talk tonight in stream. I'm running out of time to make this video for you guys today, so I'll have a more global video and talk more about what's gonna be happening United States wide in tomorrow's video as well as in the stream tonight. So other than that, guys, be safe, be weather aware. I'll see you guys later on tonight after I get back from my race, and we'll have a full live stream, a whole breakdown of what's gonna be happening over the next couple of days from this point on. But be safe, guys. Have alerts on your phones. Know where to go when you get warnings, and we'll see you guys in the next one.